Once you've got the job, then it's not a rat race anymore, right? So that getting the job is just that one initial, maybe week, month, and then it's over. Either you have it or you don't have it.
Use different processes, and of course we want to create this space which is in our mind, and we want to see it to reality. And for that, you're required to spend a lot of time, and you're required to be very dedicated in your approach towards what your final aim should be.
I mean, the rat race could be many things, right? But in the world where we are all trying to fit in, I think creativity is something that makes us stand out.
The other rat race starts after you get the job, of trying to outperform someone else. And while doing that, you end up repeating yourself.
Sometimes it can give you your own level of confidence in seeing other people resonate with your work in a positive way, giving you that kind of comments, feedback. Sometimes it gives you the confidence that, okay, it's being well received.
Please invite Supraja, Seema Puri from Cesar. We have Zubin Master from Design Matrix, Apurva Shroff from Lith Design, Zarir Aibara from Netterwala and Aibara Interior Architects. We've got Kiran Shetty from Kiran Shetty Design Studio. So we've got all the amazing names.
The phrase rat race equates humans to rats attempting to earn a reward such as cheese, but in vain. It may also refer to a competitive struggle to get ahead financially or routinely, and the term is commonly associated with an exhaustive, repetitive lifestyle that leaves no time for relaxation and enjoyment. This is according to Wikipedia, not Wikipaji. In today's fast-paced and competitive world, the pursuit of success often resembles a relentless rat race. However, when it comes to creativity, adopting the same cutthroat approach can be counterproductive. Creativity is an essential facet of human expression, and it flourishes in an environment that fosters individuality, freedom of thought, and a genuine passion for creation. At its core, creativity is an intrinsic process driven by imagination, originality, and the desire to bring up something new given the current context. Unlike a rat race, where one competes for a limited resources, creativity thrives on boundless possibilities and diverse perspectives. Like Maya Angelou said, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. So my first question to all of you, any of you could take this, all of you could take this. How would you define the concept of a rat race, and how does it contrast with the essence of creativity?
I think creativity, is inherently a part of what we do, right? As architects, as interior designers, we're always trying to create something new, something different. We want to use different materials. We want to, use different processes. And of course, we want to create this space which is in our mind, and we want to see it to reality. And for that, you're required to spend a lot of time, and you're required to be very dedicated in your approach towards what your final aim should be. And I think for that, you require freedom of expression, and you don't require to work necessarily within a certain timelines or within a certain set of guidelines. But if you're looking at, trying to always, finish something within a certain narrow time frames, you're restricted by all these external parameters. You're thinking about, validation from, all the people surrounding you. Then I think that's what kind of, sets you back, and that's where you're trying to compete against maybe what is everybody is around you. And I think that is what hinders, the creative process.
I would say a rat race in a professional environment would mean desperation, haste, urgency, you tend to overlook certain aspects that you would spend more time on if you're a creative. So in a setting, maybe in a corporate setting, that's more applicable, and it's required to hit your targets and, churn out the sales numbers and stuff like that. But that's not necessarily what's required in a setting of what we do. And so therefore, it's important to shut out all that noise, according to me, and focus more on the creativity as a part to the race.
I don't know if I agree with you guys on the rat race part being something that puts you on a time crunch. I think it's more to do with competitive attitude. If it's, okay, once you've got the job, then it's not a rat race anymore, right? So that getting the job is just that one initial, maybe week, month, and then it's over. Either you have it or you don't have it. The rest of the time, you are actually free not to be in that rat race. You've got the job, you've got 1 year of comfort. Sorry, 6 months to 1 year of comfort.
In Hyderabad,
Depending
make it 2
on
years.
which one we're talking about. So I didn't agree with you guys about it being a continuous problem. That's what I'm saying.
Just to counter, getting that job as well, right? In our situations of us always being collaborators and not competitors, is what I was trying to angle, that even getting a job amongst architects or interior designers or put against any other professional, like a doctor or a chartered accountant or whoever, a lawyer, even the pre-sales aspect to me is not necessarily a rat race. Okay, it could be competitive, but it's not one where it's brutal and cutthroat like it is in the corporate world. So I was just trying to draw that parallel.
Okay, hi. Can I say hello? Zubin, stop fighting. Like, we just started. We have 1 hour to do this. Hi, I'm Apurva from Lith Design. Thank you for having us here, first of all. And thank you, all of you, for listening. And clap loudly after I speak, okay? Okay, so not to jump into aggression, for me, I feel let's talk about what creativity is in general, right? Let's not link it to architecture right now. But what would be the difference between intelligence and creativity, right? You ask an intelligent kid, what will what will red and yellow make? And he'll probably say orange. But you ask a creative child, what will red and yellow make? And they'll probably see vermilion, coral, all these multiple things. And the difference is just seeing more. And that's what's probably what makes us creative. And the rat race could be many things, right? But in the world where we are all trying to fit in, I think creativity is something that makes us stand out, not by competition, but just by making our own unique narrative.
Oh, yes,
Thank you,
yes,
thank
we
you.
want to clap after this.
Just continuing from where Zubin came, I disagree. Totally.
Oh, bring it on, Kiran.
No, because the rat race never ends. Because even after you get the job,
Exactly.
the client
Timelines.
is your ringmaster. So therefore, the problem here is the parameters that we have. It's not just time and money. It's also a guy called, or a woman called a client. The problem, they make you be part of a rat race.
Louder.
They make you part of the rat race. And in fact, the rat race, it's a whole new race first for getting the job. That's what you're seeing, the exhibition of exhibitionism, let's call it that, of designers. And then the other rat race starts after you get the job, of trying to outperform someone else. And while doing that, you end up repeating yourself. And there goes creativity for you.
Then you're on a treadmill.
Okay. So I think I'll move to the next question and narrow down the rat race in today's context. I mean, rat race has always been around in all professions, right? But I think it's got amplified with the social media. So my question to you, Zubin, is, while social media has provided global stage for creative expression and allowing designers to showcase their work to a massive and a global audience, but the pressure to curate an appealing online persona could potentially overshadow the authenticity of creativeness. And also the quest for likes, for shares, followers can subtly push designers towards producing content to just get more popular.
Can I just say that I'm probably the last person you should ask this question
Okay, I'll
to?
divert this question to anybody here.
I might just ruin it.
So a lot of questions next are very social media oriented because the rat race has got amplified
Pass.
with that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Actually, you know, you look at social media today, and there's constantly somebody who's putting out stuff. They're talking about every single thing. It's like almost somebody doesn't have, or somebody chooses not to have any part of their life as truly private anymore. You're sketching and you're putting that on, you're talking to somebody else and you're putting that on social media. Every single sketch, every single talk, dialogue, image, picture, story, there are stories, there are multiple stories. So yes, that actually definitely, I think puts a little bit more, what would you say, not pressure, but it's pressure, and it definitely increases this whole need for all of us to keep, validating ourselves. So I think it plays a very big role in.
And it adds an additional layer of anxiety, if I may add, which could put a lot of pressure, and especially for people who are establishing themselves. The struggle is a lot more harder.
Yeah, but
than
Supraja,
for-
there, I think while we see the negative, every situation has a positive and a negative side to it, right? So while we choose to, take on the anxiety, we can also choose to be mature and see what is out there. And especially for the young ones just starting out, right? Social media gives you this huge platform to project yourselves out to a world that otherwise wouldn't even know you existed. And who you choose and who you follow, who you don't, is completely up to you. So maybe you find the right people who motivate you to follow and look at it in the positive. Exactly the same thing, right? You take the positive out of every situation that you're put in.
But you're all the time looking and being shown what it is that everybody else is doing vis-a-vis your firm is doing. Like, I mean,
So you
that's-
spend that much more time
you're spending,
looking at what other people
yeah,
are doing.
and I don't know how that's making you
More creative.
richer.
Maybe not making you personally richer in a creative manner, but sometimes you can look at it the other way also. I'm all for, no social media on that front, but I hear Apu's point on the fact that sometimes it can give you your own level of confidence in seeing other people resonate with your work in a positive way, giving you that kind of comments, feedback. Sometimes it gives you the confidence that, okay, it's being well received. So I see that angle as well, but I also do believe that it puts too much externalities and too much pressure, and that noise is not required, I feel.
It's an aesthetic feedback. It's got nothing to do with creativity. Because the person who's supposed to give you that feedback is the client. And actually, weirdly, he's the omnipresent factor while designing, but he's totally missing when the validation has to come. Because no one asks the client whether the designer has followed his brief. Because ultimately, you're designing for the client and not for the public. Because we are like any other profession, right? We are not fine artists. The problem is we are trying to behave like a fine artist, trying to work with our angst and everything. We are getting paid like anyone else, not for our emotions.
So on that note, Kiran, I'm going to ask you another question, which is not digital social media. Tell me, what is the impact of societal pressure to conform on the creative process, and how can designers sort of overcome this pressure?
Yeah, it's huge because we have, let's put it, creatively dug our own grave because we've allowed the system without understanding and being part of it. See, there was a time in the US when they used to ask a kid, what do you want to become? The third was a lawyer, second was a politician, and the first was an architect. That was the time of Frank Lloyd Wright. That was the time of no social media. The architect had that much of a social presence because he created change in the system. Like an architect fought his way through the whole, whatever, right from genres of design to the socio-political system. The problem here is we're trapped in a kind of a money, we've become a vendor actually. I mean, I'm not saying it in a negative way, but we started believing the money concept because we've allowed it to be. We're over trading. We learn in school, that you design, you have a lot of space to design. I mean, space as in time. And that's how your creativity comes out. But the thing is, we've not worked the system to position ourselves regarding fees, regarding our positioning. So what happens is our fee structure does not allow us a certain lifestyle. Simultaneously, we want the lifestyle of a client. We've got bills to pay. So therefore, you take more jobs, and therefore you can't be that creative.
So
thing
what,
is,
what
it
do you
can-
think is the solution for
Because
this?
you have to assert yourself socially. You have to be assertive socially, economically, politically. You have to fight these guys on their turf. The problem is we've just become one more element in. Who talks to architects today when they're designing cities or anything? I mean, they're all the bureaucrats. You do not have a voice in the system.
I have an easy solution. You marry well. So you have one in the rat race and the other can be creative.
You didn't hear that. You just didn't hear that, girls.
So I just want to finish one
Yeah.
part of it. So I'm a firm believer of of a good client, because the traditional format of design was always starts with the client. It always starts with the client. According to me, India has had only two great clients so far in life. That's Akbar the Great and Jawaharlal Nehru. Two things, these two guys, everything that India is all about these two men. Most of India today has depended on their stuff, and the last few years we are not, and you can see the crap that's coming out. So the thing is, so we've become, temple architecture, statue architecture, pandals. That's our aesthetic today. But the thing is, you need evolved clients too. We always talk about creativity from designers. If you look back, there were extremely evolved clients, and you had creative space. That's why I keep saying we've dug our own grave. We can just take lesser jobs and be more creative, and probably not send our kids abroad.
So to add to Akbar and Jawaharlal Nehru, for those of you who don't know, I'm from Hyderabad. The last Nizam of Hyderabad, Bir Usman Ali Khan, is responsible for, and his father is responsible for all the infrastructure we have. And he was a great visionary. So you can add one more to the list. And coming from Hyderabad, I think you've all heard of the popular song from RRR. So I'm thinking use the liberty to call this topic RR, a rat race, and continue my next set of questions. So Seema, again, it's around the same topic, right? But again, the RR mentality is driven so much by competition and pursuit of external validation, which you just mentioned also, can infiltrate the creative process. But the truth is, we have to live with it. We have to live with all the validation, the likes, the shares, especially for the newer generation. You and me can still be a little low profile in that. Any advice on how one can be doing good creative output without self-doubt, without any creative inhibition?
So I think at least our generation, I would like to really believe, would actually work only in that manner, where you set yourself a target, you have a goal, you have a very firm path which you know that this is what I want to achieve in the long run. And you kind of work in a very dedicated manner on that path, because you're looking at what you want to achieve as your final goal. You try not to get distracted by, all these pressures or this rat race or, whatever is social media. And you try and say that this is what I want to achieve. And on this path, I'm going to try all these different processes. I'm going to be creative. I'm going to fail every now and then, because frankly, if you're not failing every now and then, you're not really doing anything very creative. You're just trying to stick to one simple path, and you know that this will give you that result, and that's not what creativity is about, right? So I think if you set your goals right and you work in a very, in an honest manner to yourself, and yes, of course, you draw inspiration from what the people around you are doing. I'm not saying that you just ignore all and sundry, but you kind of, you train your mind so that it can actually produce the best. I think that should help you get through, trying to deal with all your imperfections and trying to deal with this so-called pressure that we like to actually put on ourselves.
Good. So a strong mind is required to start off with, which is required in everything in life.
Yeah.
Apurva, my question to you, and since Seema used the word failure, how does failure play a role in creative process? And how does it compare to setbacks faced in an RR mentality?
So, so imagine this really happy movie. It's happy in the beginning, it's happy in the middle, and it's happy in the end. It would make for a really boring story, right? So I feel failure in creativity is literally that little twist, drama, excitement that we all need in making our own creative movie. And without that, it would just be a really, really boring movie. And in the rat race, for example, you are running without even knowing the direction that you're running, just picking on Seema's point there. And you're probably running somebody else's race. You don't even know what the goal is. You're most definitely going to fall down. And you fall down and you get up, pick yourself up, but you don't even know which direction to run in now because the person you were following has probably left the building. And so there will most definitely be failure, there will be no learning, and most definitely no happy ending. So I feel, that's the difference between the two failures. I was actually on a flight to Delhi yesterday, and I met this really interesting guy. He was a professor at IIT Delhi, and he also leads the BCG consulting group in the product design department. Okay, so we were talking about failure, and he said to me that in India we don't know how to handle failure. We are only taught from the beginning to succeed. Okay. And while you say you need to embrace failure, as Indians, we just don't know how to do that. So what they do in their team is they fail quickly. They fail every day. So they set a target, and at the end of the day, you check what you've done. Maybe you've not failed completely, maybe you've not passed completely, but at least you have a learning, right? And that's what I found really interesting, because you can apply that to architecture. And as students or, as professionals, we like to save the best for last, right? It's all about that impact. But instead of saving it for impact, I would say brace for impact, right? The kids should constantly keep their professor in the loop, so you have constant feedback, be it your client, have constant, engagement. So even if there's small fails, at the end of the day, you definitely have potential to have a big win.
Nice. And totally. Looks like, yes. And I mean, for all of us sitting here, we've had multiple failures. And I think, I can speak for myself, I've only grown with every failure. That's what is taught you. I think success gets to your head, but real failures help you grow to the next level. So our education system is the first one which trains us to get into a rat race, right? I mean, put 10 of them in a race and say, oh, who comes first? Put everybody in a class and say, who's come first? Who's got A grades? Who's failed? So constantly we train as kids, and then we become adult. And how will we not be in a rat race? This is what we've done. What is your viewpoint on education and how education sets us to be a part of this rat race?
First of all, they should eliminate marking system. Okay, there should be no grades.
Agreed. I actually went to a school in Delhi for some time where we did not have final exams.
So I had a prof in college, he'd done a master's in England, so they used to put up, and it was kind of in the rural areas, so they used to set up everyone's thesis on boards, where anyone who would, from that town, village, came and commented on it. Maybe spat on it too, if they thought that the design was not good enough.
Exactly like what you could do on
It was not up to
Facebook.
the professors. It was actually up to the users who actually told you as to how good your design was or how badly it sucked. The thing is, the problem is everything is in the marking system. Ours is rote learning, right? I mean, I had a prof who would actually indicate the number of dots in a concrete section as per Mackay. If there were 150 dots indicating concrete, he would have 150 dots on the blackboard in his section. That is as stupid as that. So the rat race starts right there. You're always in, it's an oxymoron, right? How do you become creative in a space like that? Because first of all, there itself, you don't have time. You're not geared to kind of take that time, space to kind of generate. And failure is the least of the problems. Of course, you're going to fail. But that's, I mean, if you take it as failure and success, because there is no success, because if you create a good design, he may love it, I may hate it. So the concept of creativity has got nothing to do with good and bad. It is just a creation. So this whole issue about success, because now that's why, because there shouldn't be any good or bad. There are ridiculously ugly structures according to you, and which could be totally beautiful to me. But the thing is, but we are so geared towards that, so now it's become a money race. And, so now architect, instead of being the conductor, who's got his back to the audience all the time, he wants to face the damn audience. Because he wants to be recognized and seen. But the guys who are actually performing, the musicians are there who are facing the thing, right? The audience. But now the architect's turned his back on that. Because he wants to be recognized. Because that's the desperation. So the thing is, we have to remove and that desperation has happened because we have dug our grave, like I'm saying, because we are overtrading. We've not positioned ourselves in society well enough as a kind of a provider to the infrastructure, to everything. It's not just about good-looking things. It has to be effective. It has to be, design is about things working.
So what can we do to tweak the education system? Basically, apart from getting rid of grades, which sounds radical, what else can we do?
No, it's not radical at all, because there are a lot of educational systems which do not have grades.
Waldorf, for example.
Yeah, it's just, you have to go back to the Gurukul system of the thing. You get a kick on your pants if you don't perform well. That's all. But the thing is, there has to be peer reviews. You don't get glorified by non-existent likes, those kind of a thing. Because unlike medicine gets peer reviews. You have a journal where doctors talk about each other's work. There's some procedure done somewhere abroad. You sitting over here, you hear about it. You read about it. And you study it. But we don't do peer reviews. We have only media and social media, which talk about you. And they have absolutely no knowledge of where you come from. Because all they're doing is looking at a good picture and the plants are covering half the picture. One nice big leaf will cover. So what are we really looking at, right?
I totally agree with what he said. And I remember like about 10 years ago or something, this very popular Indian design magazine. In the cover pictures, cover page from a beautiful interior shot moved to a beautiful composition and a good photograph. It had such less to do with interiors and more to do with photography.
So I know for a fact of a photo shoot for a very famous magazine with a celebrity was done with props. The house wasn't ready. So the entire photo shoot was with props. And the designer got paid for the props. And it's a design magazine. So that's the hell we are living in now.
It's the perception of media.
So, Zarir, I have a question for you. I don't know, sorry, Zubin. That's what happens when you have two Zs. I'm glad the third is not here. Whether you like it or not, social media is here for real. And I'd like to, quote Anthony Gaudi on that. I think, if I'm right, I've read somewhere that he was not for motor cars. He was not for the progress happening back then. And ironically, to escape a car which was coming away, he went to the left or right and got hit by a tram and died in 1926. And to know that someone who hated that kind of progress which is happening in time, which is, I mean, if today I tell you that, motor cars are not going to be a reality, it's not, so possible. Social media is here to stay. How might a shift in perspective from competition to collaboration, enhance the creative progress and lead to some creative breakthroughs? Because I think the opportunities one gets thanks to social media to collaborate, the choices you have, is far more than you and me can even imagine to reach out to someone in some part of the country making something with Vickers, something with, right? So that is a huge opportunity. What do you think about that?
No, there I fully agree with you that it's like an infinite yellow pages. You just need to find what it is that you are imagining and you're going to find it. For that, I really appreciate social media. I really appreciate the online options. But I don't know if it's necessarily true that competition, collaboration, and social media are linked well. I think, okay, you still have to have the option to collaborate. It's not just collaborating with vendors. To me, today the word collaboration has become a very, very finely stretched
It's
rubber.
been used a little loosely to say.
Yeah, so what I think of originally, let's say pre-Instagram, would be just finding a dude that does a lamp and giving him the order. It's not a collaboration. I'm giving him business. I'm giving him work.
Yes.
I'm sketching it out.
Yeah.
It's not really collaboration. I'm buying it. That's it, right? And today it's become collaboration. So I'm actually probably now on our second project with real collaboration, working with other architects, making, becoming part of a team which has local expertise, let's say, and helping international guys to work here, helping them form, good client architect relations, and making sure that all the stuff that is being designed is suitable to the client, suitable to our temperate atmospheres, etc. So I feel that the word should not be used so loosely just because Instagram is out there and you say, hey, cool lamp. It doesn't mean that I'm your partner. So, I mean, I'm constantly drawing those lines, Supraja, and I think I'm not going to be able to change whether the tram hits me or not.
I totally agree
You don't
with you.
have
and I'd
trams
like
in Bombay, so you're saved.
I totally agree with what you have to say, and I'd like to add to your point is that a project or everything we do over here is all about, to me, relationships. Two types of relationships. One is with your client, and one is with your peers or stakeholders of a project, be it people you're collaborating with, landscape designer, lighting designer, architect, or be it with, artisans, whoever, even if with, contractors, whoever, workmen, whatever it may be. If it is not looked at in a collaborative manner, and if we all have our own interests only lined up, then this whole collaborative, creative process gets absolutely rogered. And then we're left with this competitive cutthroat that I'll do my work, you do your work, nothing comes together well. So that is what I mean to say is that collaboration fosters these relationships that allow the end project to eventually benefit. And I feel that in any situation where any of these relationships are put aside or not given that equal amount of importance of, call it recognition, reward, respect, if these things are kind of, disregarded, it goes into a more competitive atmosphere. And that's what then eventually damages a project, a relationship with your client, and a relationship with your peers.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So actually, it's not about, you bought that light from somebody, and I get that point. I'm just saying, I think it just gives more respect to the fact, the people that you're dealing with, when you, put it across that we are both working on this project. We are both going to bring something, new
the
to the
table.
project. Yes, we are both bringing our ideas to the table, and that kind of, I think, motivates the other consultant or the other vendor, if you want to call them. It kind of motivates them that we are also part of this project, and we would also like to bring something to the project.
So more about cross-disciplinary interactions.
I just want to take one question to Seema. Seema, can you put your carpenter into Instagram because he has collaborated the hell out of his life for you?
She should.
Every site,
He
the
has
biggest
asked.
collaborator is our carpenters
Yes.
and our civil guys.
Absolutely.
We need to elevate them.
We need
if
to.
we're going to elevate all and sundry
I
who are
agree
just
with you
posting.
completely.
But
I
why-
do.
Those are the main
But why can't it
I mean,
collaborators.
happen?
Zubin, if you were on Instagram, you would see some of us are doing that.
No, but you see, but the thing is, it's like that hashtag.
I don't follow you.
It's like
You're
I believe
missing
there's something called a
something,
hashtag, right?
Zud.
So you give them names. So
yeah.
that's all I know about it. But but the fact of the
At the
matter
rate.
is, we have to realize what comes across today in social media, especially, is that as if we are all Renaissance men and women. That we do everything, that we are the ultimate creator. So that whole collaborative effort of professionals, which we actually have, doesn't seem to be doesn't seem to be coming across. And I think, and that's actually because, again, our system has a healthy disrespect for professionals. So we are just incidental in the whole thing. And what's happening is professionals are disrespecting other professionals too. So that sense of disrespect is being kind of
Okay, I will
Continued.
switch to respect from disrespect very respectfully and continue this conversation forward. So, Appu, you use social media a lot, and could you tell us some of the gains, especially on interdisciplinary collaborations, or just opportunities which has given you, which you think you wouldn't have?
So I'm going to speak very positively because, as most of you know, I just branched out on my own last year. Okay, so I did nothing of social media until last year. In 1.5 years, the amount of recognition I have got only because of social media, because I didn't. So some of us struggled, right? When we start, despite having 20 years behind me, I started 1 year ago where I couldn't really call a project that I had worked on also completely mine, right? So social media, then you start using to your advantage the way, you see best. So yeah, maybe some of us will laugh at doors opening and closing, but
They're the ones which get
but they're the-
apparently
I mean,
maximum
so
following.
here's the catch-22, right? Like maybe I got 10 million views, and I got whatever 150,000 followers, but I don't know if those guys are going to give me any work, right? So I completely agree with you guys that we need to keep ourselves in check. You cannot let that go to your head saying, "Oh, I'm a successful architect today." Definitely not. But what it did for me is give me the confidence that, okay, I can do this on my own. I am being noticed, and I'm doing something right. So the balance, right? You need to find for yourself. Somebody else, there is no right or wrong for anybody, right? It's like what I find right, you find wrong. I agree with you 100%. But that's what creativity is, to find your answer.
I like the 100,000 following. After all this she said, and that's what stayed with me. I completely lost her on that. The 150,000 followers is what I like. So let's close and open more doors quickly to do that. We have 8 minutes more, Saloni? And
have
then
8
we have the Q&A, right?
Yeah.
That's fine, it's fine. Let's just proceed.
Yeah, I had a very interesting slide on. So
I haven't seen anything.
I don't know any if you can take this. With this great following in Instagram, there's also an influencer status, which you can turn into financial rewards, right? So how does this pursuit of external rewards and recognition, financial gain, how does that push us more into the rat race? And since Appu's just talked about it, I'd let one of you talk who doesn't have any of this following or doing an influencer status, right?
I don't think it's got anything to do with creativity. I don't know if you were going there.
No, I'm
Sorry.
talking more in the rat race
But
because
it's
this
a-
is pushing us to the rat
It's
race
a-
more, right?
It's purely a second source of income kind of decision. It's got nothing to do with your profession, actually. You're going to be appointed by brands. You're going to be selected depending on what kind of demographic your followers have. And it's a completely commercial decision. It's got nothing to do with your office, for example.
It's personal, it's individual.
It's absolutely it's like modeling. Sorry to be blunt.
Some people can do it, some can't. Some have it, in them to be present on social media and be good at it. Some of us just don't have it in us, even if we chose to.
But does it make you feel that you're losing out? Do you feel that you would like to be an influencer? Does it?
No, I would feel.
On some good days or bad days, do you feel like, hey, let me.
No, my outlook to recognition would, in my opinion, is more long term, where I feel that it all comes with blood and sweat on your back in terms of just putting your head down and doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
Maybe because I suck at social media and that's why I'm saying this. But I just feel that I've seen all you guys do it. I was very grateful to be welcomed into this fraternity by these gentlemen and ladies over here who have always encouraged and shown how collaboration and being part of a fraternity, not anything else, but that, fosters this kind of environment and atmosphere. So I look at it more in a long-term thinking that, shut out this noise, all the white noise that you may see around you. If it gives you anxiety or competition, just put your head down and keep going. And sooner or later, in your own way, you'll find your own sort of validation the way you want it, either through your peers, which matter more to me, and your clientele and the projects you put forward.
So you're saying no.
So
You don't want to be an influencer.
no, so the scary part is actually whom you get influenced by. That's what people should actually understand, because there are bandicoots, there are rats, and there are also mice, which all kind of so it's a little. You have to be a little smart as to whom you get influenced by.
Well, we're talking with the rat race, so
There will be
yeah, there's plenty of them. Yeah. Any of you can take this question. Would you like to share any experience of yours which has been an interesting collaborative experience, and it's different from a very competitive setting with any of your peers? And I understand, earlier we called collaboration when we worked with fellow consultants, and now collaboration is always also when we work with our trade partners, which was our design executed earlier. So is there any...
Yeah, I think I'll take that. I don't know if all of you know, but for 16 years of my life, I was with Red Architects, right? It was a beautiful collaboration. There were 4 of us. And I definitely didn't think I was part of any rat race at that point, right? Everybody looked down and did what they had to do. Some were good at talking and some were good at sketching, and, somebody else said something else. And it was really, really lovely. Then at some point, I started on my own. Yes, I do find I'm in a rat race now. But at the end of the day, I think it's just about being secure. And it's about, like what we've all said, finding your own narrative, right? Walk at your pace. Don't follow anybody else. Don't, find failure or disappointment in something that somebody else is doing well and you're not able to do. It's just all about finding your unique story.
Any concluding remarks? We're 4 minutes to go.
No,
All of you.
If it's about collaboration,
Actually, about creativity and rat race. Let's conclude on 2023 where we stand on this and what's the message we want to give out.
you've got to keep it quiet if you want to be creative. Rat race is exactly equal to money. So you got to choose how important money is to you, and you got to
Money,
choose
fame.
how important satisfaction is to you, and take from that what you will.
So that's
Like you
good.
said, it has to be a balance. It's how you balance it, and individually, what at the end of the day is more important to you. I think it just comes down to that. And as creatives, I would obviously assume that creativity is more important than anything else. So
Conclusion, Kiran?
Yeah.
I can give you a minute and a half.
I hope we're making you feel a little more positive,
Armageddon
Kiran.
No Armageddon speech.
Go for it,
We're
Kiran.
already there.
If I nudge Kiran a little more, we'll need another 30 minutes, and he'll bash all of us here and some of you there. So we're just trying to be in safe waters.
It's a given, right? Creativity is required. Clients are required. But the thing is, we need space, we need time, and we have to trade less. See, it's like standing in line in the airport, right? When they announce the thing, everyone stands in line. The damn plane is not going to leave. So everyone's going to get a job at the end of it. It may be 1 or 10, but you don't need to stand in line. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think you don't necessarily, need to be seen all the time. This reminds me, one of the projects, one of the buildings which we finished, I was there for a shoot. And in one of the corners, we'd actually set up this whole outdoor, chess game. And when I walked in very quietly, just from the side, I saw this father and daughter actually playing chess there. And that for me just felt, so nice. They were chatting amongst themselves and they were playing. And then when they finally saw me, he said, I really want to thank you for this lovely space that you have created. And we really enjoyed. And I could see that they enjoyed it. And I think that kind of appreciation or that kind of validation means so much more to me than than any kind of likes and dislikes, etc., etc. So
I know what you
that'll
mean.
always stay with me.
This is a house in Delhi, right?
No, you can just
no,
remove
this
the
is the
heart.
building in Bombay.
Oh, okay.
Just a fun fact about creativity, right? There's so many different aspects to it. It may not be at all connected, but I just had to mention it, especially after the function the other day for Mr. Naushad Talati. So in third year architecture, I happened to go to Delhi just on one of these Paschim Express trips with 4-5 friends. And the Belgian embassy had just been made by Satish Gujral. And obviously, as architecture students, that's one of the first things we wanted to go and see. And we were allowed into certain parts of it, because being an embassy, it was off bounds. And so we took photographs. And I came back and I showed it to a friend of mine who happened to be working at Talati Pantaki. And he showed it to Naushad. And Naushad only asked him who took these photographs. So he said, a friend of mine who's studying architecture in the third year. He says, when he finishes, ask him to come and meet me. So the thing is, the fun of that aspect, it's like about a kid who's just had a creative eye, no sketching, no nothing. It's just that concept. And another guy who's totally well established, just connecting the dots. See, that part of life is missing now. Of just, where you just respect the concept of design. It could be coming from anywhere. But, we just have to get down to it and hopefully eliminate that entire business aspect of it and the showbiz aspect from it. We are unfortunately becoming more like the film industry now, so we should tone it down a bit.
I think every profession is. And
Yes.
is it safe for me to, is it safe for me to conclude that, in navigating in this complex interplay between social media and the rat race, designers must find a way to strike a balance between leveraging digital platforms for exposure and remaining true to the essence of creativity, and foster a truly creative society. We must shift from competition to inspiration, from comparison to collaboration, by embracing and celebrating the unique potential which each of us designers have in us. We can ensure that the creativity remains a force that transcends the confines of a rat race and enriching our lives and shaping a more innovative and a diverse world.